Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and I'm just sitting here drinking my morning coffee. There you go. Black coffee, that's how I start my morning off. And I thought I would do a video for you guys and gals. And this is a topic that came up with a couple of my clients, actually. I came up with a couple of my clients. One of my ones who is obviously more life experience, and the other one was my client, Lewis. We were having chats, and they're like, hey, you do really low-fat diet, and they're both trying to lean bulk again right now, and they're like, hey, how low of fat are you eating? And when I tell them, like at most 20 grams a day, usually less, and it's all coming from just my normal low-fat foods, they didn't know how to handle that. They're like, well, I don't even see how that's possible. Right? And it created an interesting conversation with the second client. His name is Alex. And I have more than one Alex, so some of my Alexes might perk up. I've had a lot of Alexes over the years. But with Lewis, he's like, I don't even see how a person gets down to only 50 grams. I don't even see how it's possible. He's like, I get like 70 grams almost no matter what I do. And he's looking at his food, and I'm like, well, let's look at your food. And he has 2% milk in there. 2% milk. And I'm going to get over to some cultural ramifications in a minute from all this. And I'm like, so why don't you just replace it with skim milk? He's like, because I've always drank 2% milk since I was a little child. That's what I've always drank. I kind of typed back to him. Why? Like, because you drank 2% milk when you were 6 years old, that you have to drink it as an adult? Is there some rule in place? Or can we pick and choose what we want to eat? And it seems to be very, very strange that people have these ideas that because of their childhood, what they grew up eating, that dictates what they have to eat, even when they're pursuing a fitness journey. So what if I don't like the lower fat milk? I'm like, well, do you want a leaner bulk or not? Like 2, you'll get used to it within a matter of weeks. Okay, it doesn't matter. But when you start looking at the math, it was something like he was getting 30 grams or so of fat a day right there. It is purely a matter of picking low-fat foods. Like, it really is that simple. And saying, just because I've always eaten this doesn't mean you have to always. I've always put butter on my toast. Okay? You always also didn't used to lift weights. Hopefully that makes sense to people. The habits that we develop are what determine our outcomes. Now, keep in mind, this is a younger guy who bulked quicker than he was ideal and had too much fat in his diet, and he got fatter than he would like to on his bulk, and then we had to do a cut. Perfect example. My other client's like, I don't even see how you're getting it that low. I'm like, what are you eating? And then he goes through the list, and I'm like, well, I mean, you're adding healthy fats in. I'm like, and there's nothing wrong with adding healthy fats. But if you come to me and say, I am trying to optimize a lean bulk, or you're asking me how I get my fat that low, I don't add healthy fats. And it's just like, his head, he kind of typed, wow, my brain just kind of exploded. Okay. Just like if a person decides for whatever reason they're going to do a very low carbohydrate diet, and they keep adding brown rice, and they go, but that's a healthy carb. I don't see how I can get my carbs under 100 grams. And it's like, well, you're eating a cup of brown rice every day. And he's like, well, I'm like, okay, stop and think about it this way. If we don't eat foods that have much fat in them, you would never even reach 50 grams. If you ate only truly low-fat whole foods, you would never be able to reach 50 grams of fat. In other words, let's say you take really lean chicken breasts or turkey breasts. right? Like chicken breast tenders or those turkey breast slices, you get at the grocery store. A whole pound of that, which is over 100 grams of protein, has what? Somewhere between 2 and 5 grams of fat. Okay? Fat-free dairy. My Mootopia you guys see me drink. The whole container has less than a gram. There's trace amounts. Okay? In other words, let's say you ate chicken or turkey breasts or really lean fish and you ate rice. If you ate white rice, you would struggle to reach 10 grams of fat. If you eat brown rice, you'll get a little more because there's a little bit of omega-6 and stuff in brown rice. How about potatoes? How about your vegetables, fruit? So in other words, if people structured their whole diet around really low-fat foods, their diet would be extremely low in fat. And just like if you structured your diet around really low carbohydrate foods, you would easily be under 20 grams of carbohydrates a day. An example, so let me break it down. Let's say your diet consisted of tons of fruits and vegetables, right? You say you eat, pineapples, apples, bananas, watermelon, oranges, kiwis, right? Blueberries, strawberries, all these things. Lots of root vegetables, potatoes, yams, which sweet potatoes fall under, carrots, onions, whatever, right? Lots of extra vegetables, broccoli, squash, cauliflower, various peppers. Okay, this constitutes your biggest chunk of calories. And you ate only lean animal proteins, really lean animal proteins, lean fish, lean chicken breast, turkey breast, fat-free dairy, whether it's yogurts, some of the filtered milks like I do, skim milk. How much fat do you really think let's say you ate 5,000 calories of that every day. You'd probably be under 20 grams of fat. Now, the point comes up, he says, but I thought a lot of researchers are calling even a 25% fat a low-fat diet, but it's not. 25% fat's not a low-fat diet. You got to have some fatty foods in there to do that. It's not a very low-fat diet. There are cultures that eat less than 10%. Okay, and this is because in America, we eat an extremely high-fat diet as a general rule. We add fat to everything in America. So accordingly, our cultural ideas of a low-fat diet are very skewed. But it comes back down to, well, eating goes down, so I've reduced. So because the average American diet is like 40% fat or more, a 25 or 20% fat diet is a low-fat diet compared to the average American. But it's not particularly low. It's not. Plenty of athletes, plenty of cultures around the world eat much, much lower fat diets. Like I pointed out before with the Okinawans, they do a 6% fat diet historically. They have extreme longevity. They have no dietary deficiencies. So I'm not telling people this is automatically what everyone needs to do. I think it's wise for many people. But it's not that hard to do. It's that we have cultural ideas and personal traditions and family traditions and cultural traditions that make us eat a lot more fat than we realize. Okay. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys next time.